I believe we are live. Hello, hello. It is Direct Mail Monday, June 10th, 2019. I am Steve Sipress, and I have done a ton of direct mail in my lifetime over the past about four or so decades. I've also helped dozens and dozens of personal clients, in the hundreds, I think, and thousands and thousands of business owners around the world with my publications and my speeches and talks and seminars and courses and all that kind of stuff. To specifically, one of my favorite ways, as you know, every Monday is Direct Mail Monday around here. And for the past 818 days that I've been recording a Facebook Live video every single Monday of those, I've done a video specifically talking about direct mail. And usually I share actual pieces of mail that have arrived in my mailbox, and I give critiques. What's good, what's bad, what could use improvement. We're going to do something a little bit different today. Oh, and before I forget, we're going to focus basically on the structure, how to put together a direct mail piece, an entire mailing, soup to nuts. Before we get started, if that's something that you're interested in and you're serious about it and you think it could help you to talk to an expert one-on-one, I'm offering that exact help. You just head over to helpfromsteve.com. So go to helpfromsteve.com and you'll get a link to my personal calendar. We'll set up a time and a day that works for both of us. We'll get on the phone. In advance, you might want to email me whatever piece you're using now, but if you haven't even ever done it before, that's fine too. I help people all the time to get started. And that's basically what today's video is all about, is how to get started. So basically, you're here because you know that one of the best ways to make money, one of the best bangs for the buck, yes, still today, is using direct mail to get your message out to the targeted audience that you want to reach, with the message that you want to reach them with, in a way that they will pay attention more than ever before, because there's less, in case you haven't noticed, certainly it's true in my mailbox and everyone I know, there's less direct mail than there's ever been before. So each piece is getting a lot more attention than days when we get a stack like this every day and, toss 95% of it right away. Now you might get 2-3 pieces in your mailbox, and I'm on a whole bunch of mailing lists of successful companies, but I'm jumping ahead. And still, I get very few pieces in the mail, so everything I get gets tremendous attention, and that's why direct mail makes a ton of money today, while everyone is chasing the old, trying to figure out how to make money on the internet, which I help you with too on World Wide Web Wednesday. I focus specifically on the internet, although pretty much everything I teach here on a Monday, lots of it has to do with the internet, the overall strategies, the overall ideas, but we're going to talk specifically about making money with direct mail, and I'm going to talk about how to get started, because that's pretty much the biggest question I get all the time is, okay, Steve, I see your critiques, I get an idea what works, what not, I have some ideas, but I'm not exactly sure. And there's a saying in the advertising and marketing world, hopefully you use it yourself, is because you consider yourself an advertising and a marketing person more than the doer of the business. Anyone can, hate to break it to you, but anybody can do the business, whatever business it is, doctor, lawyer, plumber, consultant, anything at all. Lots of people can do it, but all the money is in the attracting of the right clients, customers, patients, members. And so that's where you do marketing and advertising. Hopefully you consider yourself a marketer and advertiser. And one of the phrases that we use all the time is a confused mind does nothing. It's just common human behavioral psychology that when we're confused leads to indecision, no decision, no action being taken. So you see that in sports a lot, by the way. Baseball season right now, as I record this in June 2019, and Major League Baseball is going on. And if you watch the game, you'll see the pitchers attempting to confuse the batter. So when they throw a curveball, this ball looks like it's coming straight at, but then it looks like it's coming at your head, and then it curves away and goes right over the plate, and it's a strike and goes right down the middle of the plate. where the batter, of course, can hit it out of the home, hit a home run every time on a pitch right down the middle of the plate, and yet he was confused because it curved. Looked like it was coming at him. Is it going to curve down? Is it going to curve sideways? Confused. No swing, no hit, no homer. It's a strike. Or it's ball looks like it's coming right down the middle, and then it curves down, and it even bounces before the plate, and the batter's swinging because he's all confused. Or the check swing is, oh, I'm not. That's all confusion. So nothing happens when confusion. It's pretty much the whole idea, a lot of the idea behind sports. A hockey player will, they call it deking. He will fake one way and go the other, and fake the goalie out of one way and shoot it up over his shoulder on the other side. A basketball player will, fake dribbling to the right, go behind the back, go to the left, this, that, no look pass. It's all about confusion so that the defense, the other side, is confused, does nothing. A football player will, the quarterback will fake a handoff. Everyone's confused. We were rushing in. Now we got to stop. Ooh, oh, wait, it's not a handoff. Now we got to rush again. And then he'll look one way, but he'll throw the other. Ooh, more confusion. Or he'll fake a short pass, and now there's confusion. The defender stops, and then the receiver keeps running, and he throws for an easy touchdown. A lot of deception, confusion, because confusion gets the other side to do nothing. Now in sports, that's something you want. You want your opponent to do nothing. But in business, we do not want our prospect to do nothing. That's the natural tendency of humanity, by the way, is to do nothing. We want to somehow, and when we get good at it, and direct mail is a great way to do it, we get really good at get people to do something that people rarely do. It's against all of our human nature to do it. It's to take action, specifically to take the action we want, to have them respond, whether it's a phone call or sending money or filling in a form or going to a website or sending back a postcard or text messaging or whatever it is. We want them to take an action. That's tough to do. Direct mail is a great way of doing it. So I'm going to share an example. I'm going to share two of my secrets. There are many, but I'm going to share two of them here that'll help you to get started. It's the secret of all the top direct mail marketers. It's what we all do. But before I get to that, I took some notes to myself. Yeah. Oh, well, and by the way, I can't even read my own handwriting here. But before I forget, and if you like this and you want to go real deep and you want to get one-on-one help, you want to go to helpfromsteve.com. That's what I do all the time. I take sometimes no calls in a day, sometimes a few, sometimes a bunch. But I get on the phone one-on-one, and I love the challenge, and I love to feel the light bulbs go off, and I love the aha moments. And I always ask people to follow up with the success after you put the stuff to use. So head on over to helpfromsteve.com. We'll get on the phone one-on-one if that's something you like. If you learn better just from reading books or watching videos, I personally, that's why I do it this way, I personally learn best when I can ask questions of somebody and interact with them one-on-one. So that's why I set this up, helpfromsteve.com. I'll give you one-on-one help, and we'll get you making some money with direct mail, at least getting your feet dipped in the ocean of money that is out there, and at least get you started on the right path to making money. Okay, so here is the secret that all top direct mailers use. We all do this, okay? And it's got to do with the old do not reinvent the wheel. Do not sit down with a blank piece of paper and go, I don't know what to do. Steve was showing me, that's the biggest fear that I get from business owners is, Steve, I don't know, what size envelope, what type of paper, what color envelope, should I have a window, no window, should be oversized, less size, shiny, color, should the paper be glossy, thick, thin, should I fold it once, twice, should it be a self-mailer with no envelope, should I include an insert, multiple inserts, should I drive traffic to a website, should I have them call, should I give them the option of either one, should I include, how many pieces should I include in there, should I make it a 4-page sales letter, an 8-page sales letter, a 16-page sales letter, should I give them, enclose a self-addressed stamped envelope? Should I enclose an envelope with no stamp on it? So many moving pieces. And then who should I send it to? But that's not what we're talking about today. Today I'm talking about physically putting together the package. There are so many options that even when You take advantage of the resources I'm going to share with you right now that'll help you out. I'm just suggesting in the beginning you do what I did. Well, actually, you do what I did not do. The first thing I did was I attempted to do this on my own, and you might be tempted the same. In fact, I have a lot of respect for the, all-out entrepreneur that says, I'm just going to go full steam ahead and I'm going to do it. Unfortunately, that's what I did, and that's not the smartest way to do it, but no one ever said I was the smartest guy in the world. But after I got crickets and no success, and I realized money is going out the window here, I thought I knew what I was doing. I made a beeline to get my stuff in front of experts, and they pointed me in the right direction. And again, if you want to talk to an expert one-on-one, you go to helpfromsteve.com or find somebody else who's an expert who will help you out for free. It's only going to be a brief call. Let's not get all bent out of shape. I'm not going to answer every single question, stay on the phone forever, and put together your entire campaign. That's something I do for my clients. But I will help you for watching this video one-on-one for about 15, 20, 30 minutes or so. I will help you put together your direct mail piece. You can at least get your feet wet, get started to make money. And as you make money, maybe you'll want to start making a lot more money. Anyway, so here's the secret. We do not reinvent the wheel. We do not sit there and say, I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to make something up. I wonder if this is going to work. We model success. So there are lots of words for it. We model, we copy, although we don't copy verbatim. That's called plagiarism, and that's illegal, not to mention frowned upon. You might think just like late at night, if you're going through a stop sign that nobody sees, I guess no harm, no foul, you might think, gee, if the guy who I'm stealing this letter from, I'm just mailing it in my local area, and so how's he going to know? He's not going to sue me or come out. First of all, who knows? Second of all, I don't do it. I don't suggest anyone do it. It's a dirty, slimy thing to do, and there's no need to do it. But we model success, so we can take that direct mail piece and make it our own. Naturally, we of course have to put our name and our phone number and our address and name of our company on it, but I'm even talking a lot more. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you some resources that will help you do that, specifically because that's what I do. And every successful direct mailer I know, the term we use is a swipe file. Now, the word swipe also has a negative connotation of swipe. You're going to steal it from somebody. Well, first of all, we're not really stealing it from them because they're sending it out, or maybe they sent it out in the past and they're not doing it anymore. But I'm not stealing it from them. I'm not going to their house, opening up their file cabinet, taking out the letter and say you can never use it again, or somehow logging onto their laptop and stealing it off the laptop or off the cloud. We're not really swiping it. Just a phrase that we use. We're going to swipe the general structure. We're going to swipe the general idea. By the way, I just mentioned sports. It certainly happens in sports, certainly happens in entertainment. You're never going to find a movie or a book or a song that isn't modeled after an earlier successful book, movie, song, or all of the above. Even though it's an original song, it's an original movie, come on now. It's boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy, has to get the girl back, or slay the dragon, or ooh, ah, this, that, the big, the bad guy, everything. Every movie is the same. The music is all the same chords. There's only a few chords. And then, of course, the words are different, but some of the words are similar. Sports, of course. I mean, when I was a kid, that's what we did. We'd get up to the plate in our backyard playing wiffle ball, and we'd, I'm going to stand like Mickey Mantle now. I'm going to stand like Carl Yastrzemski with my elbow up in the air. I'm going to, Willie Mays. Or I'm going to pitch like Juan Marichal. I'm going to kick my leg way up in the air. I mean, this is the 60s when I was growing up. But we emulate, we model success. I didn't get up there and say, gee, there's the plate. I wonder, maybe I'll hold a bat with one hand, turn my head up in the air, and I'll put my foot backwards and twist my hip. That's ridiculous. I'm going to stand like successful hitters stand, and then I'll make the stance my own. So you want to swipe the general idea of things, and that means going to resources that have direct mail pieces, and there are plenty of them. So I'm going to share a few of my favorites now. One of my favorites, it's called the Robert Collier Letter Book, and this you can get it hopefully on Amazon.com. I looked for my copy, and then I remembered I lent it out to a client, and I'll probably just go buy another one because I got to have it. And I just love to sit down. I remember when I first got it, I just went through, and these are letters written about 100 years ago by one of the greatest copywriters. That's someone who turns words into money of all time, a guy named Robert Collier. If you've heard of the book The Secret and the movie The Secret, that came out of a concept first put forth in modern times by Robert Collier about 100 years ago. And he would get paid to write letters that companies would mail out and sell their stuff. And he or somebody put them all together into what's called the Robert Collier Letter Book, just a collection of dozens and dozens of his letters. And I just love to sit there and read them. And if you do that, you get a book like that, and you just read the sales letters, or 10, 15, 20-page sales letters. You read them over and over, and one after the other, you start to understand the cadence, the rhythm. You start to understand, oh, here's where the headline's going to come in. Here's where he's going to start telling a story. Here's where he's going to overcome objections. Here's where he's going to use testimonials. Here's where he's going to really start the call to action. Here's where he's going to start talking about bonuses. And there's a certain structure that's laid out that's all successful direct mailers use. We use successful structures. Again, why reinvent the wheel and trying to, I guess you can, I'm sure you can. Go ahead, invest your time, money, and effort coming up with a structure that you hope works. But by all means, why don't you do that after you've already brought in, multiple millions of dollars, 5, 10, 20 million dollars with direct mail, doing it the right way, the way that's proven, that's always worked. And then why don't you use some of that money to play around and see if you can come up with some new way of doing it, if that really floats your boat. To me, that doesn't excite me nearly as much as mailing something out and having money come flying back in. I like that. And so I don't have the need to invent something new with it. I have the need to invent some new cash coming into my bank account. Hopefully you do too. By the way, before I forget, for those just joining us, if you want help with all this, if you're real serious about it, you want to go deeper, and you want to get specific with what your goals are and your obstacles are, and what you are selling and who you're selling it to, and you want some help with all that, go on over to helpfromsteve.com. That's why we'll help you. It's where you'll get a link to my personal calendar, and I'll help you one-on-one. Anyway, so can't find that Robert Collier book, but I found another one of my favorites. And I just checked before I came on here. This is by a guy named Denny Hatch, who was the founder of a service called Who's Mailing What? Just copies of all kinds of successful sales letters that are mailed. And he put a whole bunch of them together in this book called $1 Million Mailings. I went onto Amazon and I saw that, of course, it's out of print. And the cheapest used copy is $150. There's a few of those. And there are two new ones that went for, I think, $440 and $488. Both of them free shipping. So you got 150 or 200 or 300 or 400 or 500 bucks. Make sure you get yourself a copy of this book and check it out. This is the art and science of creating money-making direct mail, including secrets of using direct mail to make money on the internet. So it's an updated version. And it is just filled, not only explanations, but actual examples of everything soup to nuts. So you've got actual letters here, and then there are inserts, there are reply envelopes, there are the outside envelopes, word for word, the letters being mailed, so you can see how to lay them out. Should I have big paragraphs, small paragraphs, 2 columns, 3 columns? Should it fold once, twice? You see all kinds of successful examples, just page after page after page. You can see why people easily pay the 150, 200, 300, 400, 500 bucks for this thing. I probably paid about that when I got mine, although I've had it for a long time. And yet I've used it. I mean, one letter in here is going to bring in 6 figures or more, depending on what you're selling and how often you mail out the letter. And so I can go on, but this is just the actual exact every single piece in the mailing. And you might recognize some of these. This is the Columbia Record and Tape Club, or the Book Club. That one is. And so you might have remembered getting some of these in the mail. And back in the day, if you were like me and didn't think you were going to grow up and make money with this stuff. You just kind of tossed it. But somebody saved it, Denny Hatch for one, put it all together in here, and he's got all different industries, all different ideas. Again, you don't copy a word from word, but you can use something here from a furniture builder if you are a painter, if you are an attorney. Why not? Here's the Encyclopedia Britannica. So that's anyone who's teaching something. Here's a dating service, Great Expectations. Where do singles go to meet? And nowadays, a lot of that's done on the internet. So on and on and on and on through here. Omaha Steaks. By the way, some of these companies still around. You ought to get on their mailing list and get their stuff because they're still mailing stuff out. You might still be getting stuff just like this in the mail from, there it is, from Omaha Steaks with the certificates made to look like checks. That's the front and back of it. I mean, everything is here. Newsletters, postcards, the whole 9 yards. Brochures, double postcard. What is a double postcard? Ooh, ah. So this is, I'm already on page 451. This is 504 pages of stuff. If you can't make money starting with this instead of starting from scratch and basing your mailings on a winning piece from in here. Now, again, a word of caution. I made this mistake when I first started. I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I was following the directions, and I put together my mailing. I sent it out, and crickets, nothing. Probably nobody even opened the thing. And if they did, they probably just said, what's this all about? And I mean, I just did it all wrong. Then I got my head together, and I went and I paid some big money, and I got in front of some experts, and I went to see them and brought all the copies of my letter and, you know, put it in front of them all, and they were like, oh, yeah, no, they were all laughing at each other and shaking their heads and rolling their eyes, took out pens, they're crossing out paragraphs, whole pages of it. It reminded me of my senior's honors thesis where when I went to defend the thesis, I had a 183-page thesis or something, and being a sports fan and being pre-law, I figured out a way to write about baseball, and I wrote it on the antitrust laws as pertaining to the reserve clause and free agency in baseball, which in the early 80s was a red-hot topic. Free agency was just starting. But anyway, I remember when I went in for the review with these professors and lawyers and whoever was reviewing that, and they were like, oh, they just like crossing out page after page. This is all fluff. You don't need all this. This is pointless. Get this out of here. I'm like, oh my goodness. I slaved over that for hours. So that's how I felt in my direct mail piece. I was like, I thought I knew what I was doing. They were like, no, this is terrible. Do this, do that, do this. So if you want that kind of help, I'm offering it. Not to sit with you in person and read the whole thing and sit there for an hour and cross everything. But I'll get on the phone for 15, 20, 30 minutes with you if you go to helpfromsteve.com. If you'd like that kind of help from an expert one-on-one, I'm offering it, no charge. Helpfromsteve.com. I love to help entrepreneurs. Here's another one of my favorites, and then we'll end it here, is Dan Kennedy's Magnetic Marketing. Now, one reason I'm partial to this one is a lot of my friends have their pieces in here. Now, I think this is the 2008 edition, and I think there was two before it, which I have both of those also, and I think there was one or two after it. I have all the editions, and each one has, different examples in there. And that's what I'm talking about. So not only does it have Dan Kennedy himself explaining the concept of his system, but the pièce de résistance is this part called the toolkit. And the tools are all the examples. And here they're tabbed into different sections. So there's sales professionals. If you're a salesperson, I've certainly used those. If you have a retail store, there's a whole section of letters. Service business, section of letters there. Business to business or industrial marketing, whole section of that. Professional practice, doctors, lawyers, accountants, chiropractors, dentists there. Restaurants, a whole section there. On and on and on. And each one, you can just open any page and look at, there it is. I mean, you have the exact example. Your picture goes here. There's your headline. It explains what's going on here so you can put it together. Okay, so Dan is explaining not only here's the letter, but you see, this is where you want to talk about there's a limited number available. This is where you want to answer objections. This is where you want to have your power close. This is where you agitate the problem. This is where you get the free gift offer. This is where you have powerful title. And Dan goes through and explains paragraph by paragraph what is going on in these letters. And as you see at the top, beautiful thing is they're copyright free. You're free to use these. The course, I don't know, when I bought it was $500. I think now they sell it for $250 or $300 or something. But you know, these are, by the way, to get letters in here, these are mailed in. As I said, I know a whole bunch of the people that have done this. They mail in their letter. You have to share the results that you got, how many you mailed, kind of return rate, this, that, and you know, obviously they got hundreds and hundreds more submissions than the few that they allowed to make it into the toolkit. But these were all proven. This is not made up pie in the sky, neither is the Denny Hatch stuff. This is real, proven, actual stuff. And there it is. So you put your photo there, there's your headline, and you can rewrite the headlines. So I remember the first one I used was on the first page right there of the sales career. And this is a sequence of 3 letters, and I've helped clients do these as well. And so there it was. For the blank neighbor, a free gift is reserved for you. All I ask in return is a chance to say hello. I remember using this one when I was a Yellow Page salesperson, and I had a free gift, a free report about how to make money with the Yellow Pages. And it was, you know, my name is, and I am a Yellow Page sales rep, blah, 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 blah. So I used this example from an auto sales professional, car salesman, and I turned it into a Yellow Page salesman. So that's what I'm talking about, swiping and copying, not copying word for word, but modeling the success. That's the #1 secret that all successful marketers use when we do direct mail or pretty much any kind of advertising or marketing. And I can tell at a glance when somebody didn't do that. I could, you know, unfortunately stump them with one question when they say, hey, what do you think of this? And I just say, where'd you get that headline? What'd you base that headline on? Because pretty much, you know, and I have for my clients, I have a private online forum, and I have in there a PDF that I put in there, a list, 10, 20 pages or so, I think, of the 100 greatest headlines ever written, and an explanation a little bit about each one and how to, again, how to rewrite it and use it into whatever specific situation you're in. But again, it's not just flip a coin, and I guess any one of the 100 will do. You got to have an idea. If you don't want to just throw your money away and your time and your effort, you want to have an idea of which one to use in which situation and how, what they really mean, what are the elements of them that you're switching around your modeling and your swiping and copying based on. And again, that's why I offer my help from Steve.com, and I'll help you figure out how to use these examples for your specific needs, for your specific audience, and specifically what you're selling and when you're selling it and where you're selling it and what the prices are and where people are in the buying cycle and all that kind of good stuff. There's a lot of moving parts to it. However, it's all based on that success. So I ask people, where'd you get that headline? Because I know it's not one of the top 100 headlines, right? I mean, let's say you're an auto mechanic. Somebody comes in and goes, hey, it's Kathunka. I don't know. You're like, well, it's either A, B, or C. I mean, you can tell just by listening to the engine, oh, I think it's this or that. Well, I can tell just by looking at someone's direct mail piece, that's not working. What's up with that? Where'd you get this? I know that's not one of the top 500 headlines ever. I know they basically made it up. And why would you do that? Well, I know why you would do that. You're an entrepreneur. And even I teach right here all the time to be a renegade, to break the rules, to be independent, to go out there and make things happen. But when it comes to advertising and marketing, no. We don't have to do that at all. Why would you? That's expensive. It costs you a lot of time, money, and effort. And why would you do that? We're going to model success. So we are starting we're starting with a big advantage. It's like running a 100-yard dash against Usain Bolt, but you get to start 80 yards up. I'm sure he'd still cruise right by me after about, when I get to like yard number 90, he'd be cruising right by me. Give me a break. Maybe if I start 90 yards up, I got a shot. If I immediately dive, I can't dive 10 yards. Anyway, that's what you want to do. You want to start on the 10-yard line, not on your own goal line by making everything up. Start on the 10-yard line. And now there's another sports analogy, but if you're a football fan, you'll understand that if I gave you the ball on the 10-yard line every time against the top defense, you still wouldn't score every time. It's still tough to get in from the 10-yard line. If you went to play golf and instead of putting your ball on the tee, I put you 10 feet away from the hole every time and said, there you go. You only got 10 feet to go. One shot, put it in. You wouldn't hit that shot most of the time. So I'm not trying to mislead you by making this sound easy. It's still not easy. However, it's got to be easier, better, safer, and certainly a heck of a lot cheaper if you value your time, your money, and your effort to start on the opposing team's 10-yard line or to start 10 feet from the cup than to start 300 yards back on the tee. And that's what I'm offering, that kind of help. So those are two of my favorite resources. Use those two. I got a whole bunch more. And most of all, I got me. That's a resource that people pay big money for. But I offer it here for free for a short, brief period of help when you go to helpfromsteve.com. And that's it for Direct Mail Monday. Again, just to summarize the point, you know you can make money with direct mail. You watch me open my mail and give critiques all the time and say, this is no good, that's no good. But I get the number one objection I get all the time is people still contact me and go, all right, I get it, Steve. You know what's good, what's bad, and I appreciate it. It's fun and it's interesting. But, man, how do I do it myself? How do I put the whole thing together? It's a lot more easier said than done. So here I'm offering two examples that'll get you fantastic starting points. Now let's see if there's any questions. Sid is here. Sid says you're right on the money. I've been doing that. Thank you for confirming I'm doing it right. Very good. Again, if you want some help, email me over a piece or two of the pieces you're mailing out, or a bunch of pieces, or whatever it is, and we can get on the phone. I can give you a critique. And either way, I help people either save money or make money. Sometimes I just help people save a few $1,000 by saying, don't mail that. That won't work. I already know that won't work. Again, just like if you are a chiropractor, you can tell someone walking down the street has a bad hip. You just know that's not working, right? Because that's what you do. I can tell if your direct mail piece isn't working right, or if you're making a big mistake that's leaving a ton of cash on the table. Free phone call, folks. Helpfromsteve.com is where you go to schedule that call. We'll get on the phone one-on-one. I'll either save you a ton of money, make you a ton of money, or what do you know, often I do both. Either way, hope you have a lot of success with your direct mail, and hope you understand the concept that overcomes a lot of the fear and a lot of the inaction and a lot of the hesitation and a lot of the procrastination and paralysis, basically, that so many business owners have, that they just don't do direct mail at all. Is, Steve, I don't even know where to start. I don't have the first idea of how to do it. You want to model success. So number one, know what success is. Know it when you see it. Study enough that you understand what success is with direct mail, and then know what the elements are that are going into, so you know not to. One mistake I made when I first started was I moved around some paragraphs. Well, they're in a certain order for a certain reason. So I messed the whole thing up. I had the flow all wrong. I was just messed up people's brains. And so luckily I had critique by people that knew what they were doing. And as soon as I mailed out the piece based on those experts and their advice, phone rang off the hook. The rest is history. And now I've helped a lot of people. I've built businesses with it. I've helped a lot of people make a lot of money with it. I'll just close by saying, if you're serious, I'll help you too. You go to helpfromsteve.com. That'll do it for Direct Mail Money Monday. Thanks everyone being here live. Thanks for comments, questions. If you weren't on here live, if you want to be on here live, you got to go to my business page on Facebook. It's facebook.com/smallbizhelp, small B-I-Z help. That's where you get on live. Otherwise, if you're watching this on a replay anywhere, my blog, podcast, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you're watching it, leave a comment. And if I see it and I get to it, I can answer the question. Better yet, go to helpfromsteve.com and I'll help you one-on-one. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow and I'll catch you on Topical Tuesday. See you then. Over and out. Bye-bye.